Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm actually not recognising myself. I didn't write that about myself, by the way. So I'm feeling all on top of the world because I've been doing my favourite activity, which is to dance and just bring that life into a body on a Friday afternoon. So it is very timely that we danced before I give my conversation to you, or we have this presentation really, because I'm going to set the Red Flag project that is part of Arts Care in Northern Ireland, the charity that I work with. I'm going to set it really against a backdrop of the theory of Rudolf Laban dance technique. Now, Rudolf Laban, you may not know of Rudolf Laban, but really in the 1940s, he was a brilliant theorist, an exceptional visionary, and the critical to the dancer and to dancers being successful in terms of the theatre was the relationship that you have with yourself as a dancer, that you have with others as other dancers, and more importantly, the relationship that you have with the environment that you are dancing in. So I have really, because Laban technique is a technique that I use in healthcare and education, so I have used it almost as a management tool as well, and it translates across all the projects, arts and health projects, that we do within Arts Care. And what is really critical to the success of tribes and communities, you know, they always say, if everybody dances, the world transforms. I completely believe that, because on a daily basis with Arts Care in wards and units and communities, we are seeing the power of dance. This project is not about a dance, this project is not a dance project, but it is shaped around relationship. And those three critical elements that really function in terms of community and tribes working. So the Red Flag project, I'm feeling very comfortable here today. There's lots of red around. I thought, my goodness, we're coordinating for this as well. Can't get any better here at Queen Margaret's, thank you. But the red flag, just quickly, we often see red flags. Where do we see them? We see them in the beach. We see them maybe in carnivals. But the one thing about a red flag is a warning. And this really is the title of this project. It's a warning, but it is a transformation through the arts and a model of arts, health and well-being for younger people into also a celebration. Because we have lots of beautiful red balloons around here today. So really I'm hoping that at the end of this presentation that you will see how the arts are really transforming the lives of young people in Northern Ireland as we begin to explore the huge challenge that is not only local but national and global of actually abuse in young romantic teenage relationships. This has really come out of the perspective of Arts Care working with the Here and Now Older People's Arts Festival, where over the 10 years we've been working with agencies such as Women's Aid, looking at abuse in older adult relationships. But one of the things that the women that we have been working with right across the board is that they want to change for the next generations that are coming through, that we can eradicate abuse in relationship. So we have positive relationship with self, positive relationship with other, and positive relationship in the environment in which we are functioning as human beings together. Article 19 of the CNCRC actually states that it is a human right for everyone to have dignity, and that includes our children. And from that perspective, I want to just talk about this project. Many young people, according to Christine Banter report with Bristol University and NSPCC in 2009, it is prevalent in young teenage relationships. Abuse is prevalent. We always imagine you fall in love, you see the guy in the bus, you see him 50 years later and it's all different. But anyway, you see him in the bus, he's gorgeous, the hair is long, it's flowing, it's gorgeous. Your heart beats, you are in love. But many of our young people do, and all of our young people are experiencing that. But many of the young vulnerable people and the not so vulnerable young people who are in schools going about their everyday business are actually experiencing great levels of negativity and toxicity in their young emotional relationships. So the Red Flag project really came out of the fact that we did a lot of consultation with young people right across Northern Ireland in 3 of the 5 health and social care trusts that we have. This project is supported by the Arts Council of Northern Ireland, by the Public Health Agency and by the Health and Social Care Trusts in Northern Ireland and other agencies. This picture here that I'm showing, that I'm going to give my background and my presentation to, is actually the end product. But it tells you a little bit about the significance of engaging with an arts process, working with a team of exceptional artists across different art forms to get the voice of the young people out there. Young people between the age of 12 and 18 engaged in this project. Young people between the age of 12 and 18 told their narratives and their stories, some actually very shocking. Some actually you're thinking, this is devastation in these young people's lives. What does abuse look like and how does it impact? Well, abuse is really from the red flag perspective. We want the warnings. Get the red flags out there. The young people come up with this concept of the red flags. There is control, there is coercion, there can be physical violence, there can be humiliation. The young people are identifying from their own relationships, many of these young people who are looked after children in care, many of these young people who have come through the Women's Aid refuges, they are bringing their stories and sharing it with us in this project. And some of the stories are horrifying, but some of the stories are also encouraging. What does it do to our young people? What does it do? It devastates them. Can you just imagine a young person coming through like a beautiful, gorgeous plant? You're starting your life, you have your aspirations, you have your dreams, wham bam, you're finding yourself in love. Suddenly, your world collapses. You can't go to school. You start to take maybe drugs, alcohol. Your self-esteem crashes to the ground. Your self-value disappears altogether. You become isolated from your friends. You don't know what direction to take. Now, if only our young people, and we had a model where we could actually say to our young people, let's equip you with the series of warnings and red flags that you need to know to help you on your journey of life. Our young people are setting out on a journey of life. We are all older. We are here in this room. We are older. We have experience. We're moving forward. I think very often we're so busy with our lives that we haven't actually the patience to come alongside young people, listen to them, let their voice be heard, but also be the mentors, the guide, the parents that so many of these young people who have not got that guidance really absolutely needs. So whenever we were working with them, we worked with their choice of art form, which was very exciting. We worked with rap. I wouldn't start it because I would totally embarrass my daughter who's sitting here, so I won't, I won't start rapping. I promise I won't dance. But what I will say is that rap came forward as one of the most significant art forms that they wanted to engage with. Creative writing so that they could get the word out and put the word to rap. Music making across various landscapes, and we were working with a fantastic rap artist and sonic musician. And then they wanted to work with photography. Photography has become very significant for young people, putting cameras and videos into their hands to come back with their narratives, trusting them that they know best how to tell their narrative and get it across and their voice heard. There's no use when you're working in the arts and health, to construct a project that is driven by an artist or driven by a healthcare service. That just doesn't work. It has to be really a co-production, but primarily it has to be led by the young people themselves. So this choice of working with film, animation, soundscape, and putting it all together as an installation that was a 360 degrees immersive experience that actually was very powerful, told their story in one of the most amazing ways that I have ever seen any of our youth projects in terms of mental health told before. Why do I think it was such a successful project? To date, we haven't finished it. We've gone through 2 phases. We have a 3-year project. We are now moving into our 3rd year. I think it really is because the young people shaped the project right through from the initiation, the design, the consultation, right through the process of the art making and coming right through to the product at the end. Now, this is an interesting location because, again, when you're engaging with the arts, for the arts to be really impactful and to have meaning as the arts for the sake of arts contributing to health and well-being, quality is very important. Quality of delivery of the art form, also the professionalism of the artist, and also the quality of the art venue. Our young people, whenever, our vulnerable young people in particular, when they are engaging with the arts, they need to know that they can enter into an arts venue. They have a right to go into an arts venue, not to be intimidated, but to be welcomed. Now, I just have to very quickly, I just want to say to you that the first experience we had on our Twilight Zone project, which is our looked after annual programme with young people, we have a beautiful theatre space in Belfast. I'm not going to mention it, but it's beautiful. And there are a lot of ladies' lunch and a lot of people have nice times. But anyway, we decided we were going to introduce our young vulnerable people to the theatre for our Twilight Zone, engaging with drama and music. Within half an hour, I got a phone call from on the first day from the theatre manager to say, excuse me, Arts Care, are you the director of Arts Care? I said, yes, we have a problem. I said, oh, what's your problem? There seems to be a lot of rough young people who are running through our theatre. We have breastfeeding mothers and we have old people who are having tea, in the morning. And I'm going, okay, and we have young looked after people who are exploring and experimenting and finding their way. Why did that behaviour, present itself? Actually, the young people said, we are very scared of coming into these environments. We don't feel welcome in the environments. Well, it didn't help that they were actually pitching stones, over the top from a little balcony space as well. But there was part of me that thought, we are not preparing these spaces for our young people and their creativity and their right to actually engage with the arts. We want to put them into maybe little dingy places and places really away, hidden away. But actually, this is an amazing space that has just come up at the minute in Belfast. I know you have ITV, I think, here in, is it ITV you have in Scotland? STV, oh sorry, ITV, it's down south, isn't it? Well, we have UTV, and these are our big UTV where different programmes were showcased. But actually they've moved on to new premises. So this has become a very vibrant artist sort of collective premises, and these are all the studios where the news and all took place. So you can see all the cameras have been taken away. You can see that just at the top. But actually it's become a very contemporary showcase, very atmospheric in the bowels of, Havelock House. And it was amazing for the young people to actually come in, set the space up, have this wonderful sense of sound, music and light come together, and that actually they were able to feel very proud of what they had achieved. Now moving on to our third year, and where we're actually standing at the minute with this project, is that we are wanting, and the young people are wanting, this to become a project that is absolutely disseminated right through schools, youth clubs and communities in Northern Ireland. It is really important, and I cannot underline it, because we are working every day with women whose lives are broken and their children's lives are broken. We're working with men whose lives are broken through domestic violence as well. And it is important that as a society, it is important in every community that we eradicate violence from humanity. We must do it, and if the younger generation is coming up, we must show that love to our younger generation. This morning, we have, or all during the day, we've had the word love, we've had the word kindness. That's so encouraging for me, because I do come from a health background before I ran away and trained in my dance. But I have to say that, it is important, because one of the nursing sisters I worked with, she taught me how to love my patients. She gave me the skill base to respect them. She gave me the intuition, or how to use my intuition to be and use to be the person who could show my love in that context. Many ways now that has been a little bit pushed out into the periphery, but I'm glad to see that in presentations like this we are bringing those back into the centre again, because that's how humanity will survive, that's how humanity will transform. The arts really are changing the lives of many people within health and social care, particularly in Northern Ireland we are seeing it, but in a more global sense as well. What is the key? Well, for us to take this out into schools and the youth clubs, as I am sharing with you, we need investment. We need partnership, and that partnership may go from a business partnership that we are working with at the minute, hopefully to bring a toolkit through that the young people will create and take out into the schools, that every young person in Northern Ireland in secondary level education and just almost post-primary, that transitional year, will have some knowledge and toolkit that will be very accessible to them in a moment, that means that they will really understand what an unhealthy relationship looks like, but not only an unhealthy relationship, but a healthy relationship that is trust, that is love, that is respect, and that they will have the skills, the creative skills, because this will be underpinned by artists going out into schools and into the youth clubs, that it will be underpinned by the creative process. They will be able to draw on their own creative or their own creativity to make decisions as to whether they enter a relationship at the age of 12 or even younger, whether they sustain and stay in that relationship, but most importantly, and I haven't got it in the second, I don't have it in the second slide, but we could move through the second slide. You know, it is important that they have an exit, that they know instantaneously how to make an exit. It's as critical, it's as important as that. This is one of what we would call our intensive care arts projects. We see it as critical, not just for the future, but for many children who are in their homes or not in their homes, that may be on the streets, that are in their bedrooms, that are isolated. I am sure in this room alone that there are very few people who have not been touched by this subject. And it's important, if you are a healthcare professional and a student and you're moving through, that you actually see that in every walk of life that there is in the workplace as well. So we have to find a way of dealing with it. I just love this environment, and as we move on to the next one, which is my final slide here, what next? In dance, returning to the principles of dance again, flow is very important. And if you imagine flow in life, free flow, where nothing is stuck. McNiff talks about stuckness. Stuckness is a horrible word. And abuse can be part of that stuckness that really, really sticks our lives up and prevents our young people or any of us from moving forward. So this image that the young people created is a very free-flowing image. There are lots of choices and directions that can be made. It is all part of working with our artists. It is all part of freeing up the creative process and trusting the process. I have found in my years that I have worked in arts and health and my personal practice as a dancer, that when you, and it's a good wee exercise that you can do, is that to trust your own creative processing. Just say, okay, creative process, you're out there. I've heard you do great things. Show me what you do. Get yourself onto the dance floor. We did that today. Go and get into photography, do whatever it takes, or painting, you don't have to give yourself permission to do that, just do it, and see how it informed your life. See how it comes into that space that supports your health and well-being as an individual. See how it brings vision back into your life, how it motivates your life. These are all elements that we are trying to take forward with our young people. Our young people have to imagine, they have to vision, and the one thing they have to do is dream. Just in conclusion, I just want to tell you very briefly that we were working with a group of young people and we asked them, in your wildest dreams, what are your dreams? And they did tell us our dreams. But who could not tell their dreams? Who never had a dream in the room in which we did it that day? It was the health and social care professional. They said, we have lost our dreams. And yet the young people, no matter how bad their situation was, they were thinking about the future and their dreams. It was encouraging that the young people had that positivity, but I then thought, right, okay, and this is what we do with our organisation in Arts Care. Our focus is very much now in using creativity to unfold the professional development of healthcare staff and students. And that's another story. But what I want to finish, just as I come to the conclusion of this, is that I'm very happy that in this project that we are doing, that we are moving from the red flags that are going to be out there for every young person. We are hoping globally that our Northern Ireland project will go global, so you may hear from us in the near future, that it will go to the red balloons, but that ultimately, I'm just delighted to be on a red carpet this afternoon. It's a place where I belong. But it is a place where all our children belong. So let's give them a red carpet of care for life and a red carpet of love, and let's see the next generation transform with all the wonderfulness that they have and transform our world. Thank you very much.